All right. Excited for you guys to be on tonight. I am Melissa Shaver. I'm one of our Emerald ambassadors on our teams, and tonight's going to be a great night. First of all, it is the first of the month of September, and I'm really kind of focused on this month being a month of continued commitment, a month of success. I think you're going to hear some information tonight on commitment and how to stay strong and mindset and all those things. That's going to be really good for you to hear tonight. But before we get started, I kind of wanted to share a couple of things, and then we're going to hand it over. First of all, if you are a new ambassador, I'm so excited that you're on this call with us tonight. Welcome to our team. I will tell you, you have joined an incredible company with amazing products that are proven. We've all experienced them, so I'm excited for you just to build your belief. You have joined an incredible family and team and community, so I'm super excited for you and the support that you're going to receive. A couple of things that I'd love just to encourage you with is first and foremost is be really consistent on your products. I know whenever you first get started, it has to become a habit. You have to get used to when you take them, mornings and evenings and things like that. Be consistent. Troubleshoot with the person that brought you into this family. Troubleshoot with them if there's some things going on, if you have questions towards it. And then more than anything, share your excitement with people around you. So you be consistent and then share your excitement. Those are the two big things that I could tell you to really focus on this month. And also wanted to make sure that everyone saw our schedule for September. Now, I know that we have several teams on this page, but a couple of things that I think that maybe we're doing across the board all together is we do, and I'm sure if you're not doing this specific one, you're probably doing something, because we really like to encourage and be accountable to each other for doing some type of an income producing activity every day. We're doing a 3, 6, 9, 12 challenge. If you want more information on that, if you haven't seen it posted on your team page, either reach out to your upline or you can ask us and we can get you that information. Super easy. And we've seen it be really successful. And for most of our team, it's one of their funnest, I guess, one of the ways that they love the most to be able to do their IPAs. So it's a great way to do it. But a couple of things that I want you to hear about that, the whole reason that we do any type of income producing activity is that we want to be not only sharing our excitement about these products and our love and making impact on people's lives, on their health and on their happiness, but we're always bringing them into some kind of an event. And so we have a couple of events this month. We have a 3-day blitz that's coming up September 17th through the 19th. And we also have, I'm super excited, September 27th, we're having the Ultimate Mom Hack event. And it's going to be really good. We have some incredible speakers that are going to be with us. It's an all-day deal and then an evening deal. So really excited about those things that are going to be going on. Michelle, do you have anything else in your team that you want to kind of announce real quick? Or
it's not too late if anybody wants to be in on our book club. It's a 7-week book club. It's a fiction book, but it has 7 really strong principles that I think make it super interesting bringing it out. So that starts tomorrow. It's not too late. It's a super easy read that you could easily catch up. If anybody decides they want to do it, just comment on it and we'll add you to the page.
And what is the name of it, Michelle?
The Traveler's Gift.
The Traveler's Gift. So you can even get that on, get it on Amazon tonight, do Prime and get it to.
Yeah, you can download it for free, whatever.
Yeah. Awesome.
I think good. Even online, it looks like you could potentially even read the chapters online without even purchasing.
Excellent. So guys, I really encourage you guys to do that. She was telling me just about that book and the things that she got excited about and learned through it. I think it's going to be an excellent read. And then Laura, do you have anything that you want to add from your team?
Not right now, I don't think. I think we're good with.
So 3-day blitz and the mom hack and all that good stuff. Okay. Perfect. All right. So we are going to get started. Tonight, you're going to be hearing from 3 different ambassadors They made a commitment this summer. And one thing that we're bringing out in the Passionate Pursuit page this month is commitment, and really looking at a 90-day commitment. Melissa Eichenhorst, we did a call with her. We put the video out there where, growing your business in 90 days and really just focusing on 90 days at a time. And you can comment on that. You're going to be seeing some more posts on that tomorrow. But I love tonight's call because we're going to hear from 3 women that some of them looked at 90 days and looked at a goal for those 90 days. Some of it was looking at Leaders Retreat. You're going to hear from one that made a decision at the very last minute to run for Leaders Retreat. You're going to learn some things from her, that what she had to do, the belief she had to have in herself. And then you're going to hear a strategy from another leader that saw Leaders Retreat, and she was going after some very, very specific goals and strategy. But she had this 90-day commitment of just looking and being able to even set herself up for her next 90 days. So I'm going to get us started on that. Let's see. Let's make sure that everyone is muted whenever you jump on. I think I just got everybody. And so Lauren Trevorrow, where are you, girl? We're going to start off with you. If you want to share a little bit about your story and the things that you learned and the commitment that you made to yourself.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lauren, and I'm actually a Silver Ambassador. I've been with Plexus for about 3 years now. But there's 3 things that I wanted to kind of touch on tonight. And I am that person that last minute decided, hey, you know what? I'm going to do Leaders Retreat. And I went for it. When Leaders Retreat was announced, I didn't think that I could do it. And June and July were so slow that I was like, there's no way. So I sat on 228 points for 2 months. Those were all because of my downline actually going silver and adding people. It wasn't anything like I did because I literally had no belief in myself. The last 2 weeks, Melissa had posted, and several people had posted videos of people who had about less than 200 points and earned Leaders Retreat within 4 days. And I watched every single video that they posted. And I was like, well, if they can do it, let me try. Let me at least try and do this. So within 2 weeks, 2 weeks ago, I messaged over 200 people. And then I gave it a few days, and everybody that I could tell had actually read the message, I followed up with. And then this past week, I messaged another 100, but then I wrote out my list of 30 people, and I went from the 228 points, and I ended with 890, guys, 890. Now, the day of 4 hours to go, I was at 600 points. I added 20 ambassadors within 24 hours. Because I was making phone calls. I was just pushing really hard. I also had amazing support from Melissa and from Chris and, people that I actually have never even met through the Diamond Destination team who said, hey, I'm at this many points and I'm going for it. So there is a huge support system here, which is kind of moves me into my next thing of why I didn't actually think that I could earn Leaders Retreat or anything for that matter. I'm dealing with a upline that is non-existent. They have left Plexus for one reason or another. So I'm actually several layers below Melissa. And so I don't have anybody really supporting me from upline except for when it gets up to Melissa. It's not an excuse. Like, you can't my upline doesn't support me. My upline doesn't encourage me. I'm doing this on my own. Well, you can do it on your own. I proved that to myself this past week. And 20 people in 24 hours, like, I didn't think that was possible, but it actually is. And it was a lot of fun getting to connect with people and actually talk about health journeys and stuff. One of the main reasons as well why I didn't really think that I could earn Leaders Retreat is because I had a lot of personal things going on this past year. My husband and we miscarried a baby. I've lost a friend to cancer, but then I also lost my best friend to cancer. So there's been a lot of stuff going on. But guys, like when you focus and you put those blinders on, as Melissa says, and you just go for it, believe in yourself, and, you know, head straight down the path that you are aiming for, then you can achieve it. Things happen and life does go on, but I love how Plexus has actually fit into all the nooks and crannies of my life. I have relatives from England that we literally just picked up from the airport, and they're out there, but I'm in here because I can take moments to come and be a part of my team, which I'm very excited about. And I absolutely love the support that I've had from the team, because I was very disappointed that I ended with 890 points. I was crying. Like I told Melissa, I was like, I just want to die right now because I was so exhausted. My last order went in at 12:01. So things happen, but it's okay, because I realized what my team is willing to do for me, what my friends are willing to do for me, and more importantly, what I'm willing to do for me. Because if you're not willing to do it for yourself, then nobody will be there for you. You cannot let fear rule your business. I know we hear this like a lot on all the team calls. You really cannot let fear rule any part of your business, because you have to believe in the products. I know the products work. I know that I feel different on the products. I did not have belief until my friend died from cancer. When he died in April, his mom sat down with me, and the doctors listed out things that he was deficient in. He had diabetes, he had Crohn's disease, which led to colon cancer stage 4. They listed off chromium, magnesium. They said he was deficient in omegas. They said that he was deficient in vitamins. Every single thing that she listed off is in Plexus. Every single thing. I cannot tell you what that did for my belief in these products. Everybody needs them. So if you're afraid to message 300 people, then think about, you're not just annoying them. You're not just reaching out to them. You care about their health, and you want them to survive. You want them to live happy lives, healthy lives. Like, this business is about the heart, the core of helping other people. And that is the reason that I pushed so hard. And I was like, I don't care if I get 100 no's, 300 no's, whatever. I care about every single person. And I prayed for every single person that I messaged. And that built a relationship with them, but it also built a relationship with me trusting and knowing that I can do this. So yeah, I fell short of Leaders Retreat, and it really does stink. It's like I had a marathon. I ran the fastest race ever, and I right before the finish line. But you know what? Even though I fell right before this, doesn't matter, because I hit that so hard. I'm proud of my success that I've done personally. I hit the most PV I've ever hit. I've like quadrupled the most PV I've ever hit, because I finally said, okay, Melissa, you're right. I'm wrong. I've had excuses. No more excuses. So I thank my team, and you have to believe in yourself and trust your upline. And if you don't have an upline like mine, go above them. Mm-hmm. Go to the next person, go to the next person, go to the sidelines, find somebody to run with you. They're not kidding when they stand on stage at convention and say, find a running buddy. Like, find a running buddy. It's great.
Girl, I feel like I just went to church. That was incredible. I don't know if you see all of these incredible little messages. You're incredible. I'm so proud of you, and how much you grew your business, and how much you believe in yourself. And Lauren, can I say, you did not fall flat right before. You literally sprinted through the finish line, girl. And you would have hit your 900 points if it would have come in at 1 minute earlier. You flew through the finish line. Don't ever think that you stopped short.
Yeah.
You flew through. And another thing about Lauren that I just want to share is that night, like literally, we were texting back and forth the whole night. Like, we were going crazy. And when that screenshot came to me, 1 minute passed, and my heart was broken, and her heart was broken. Mm-hmm. Yes, you can cry. Yes, you can be down. You can be frustrated. You can be sad. But I called her the next morning to check on her. She had regrouped. She was having breakfast with her husband. She had gotten her mindset back where it needed to be. And I hung up thinking, you know what? She's not only going to survive, she's going to thrive. Because that's what it takes. Emotion is good, as long as we don't stick in the yuck forever, right? As long as we pull ourselves out of that emotion. But emotion is good for us, and recognizing emotion is good for us. But she has a supportive husband. She has great friends and community right here that helped her process it, that empathized with her, that loved with her, and then brought her to the other side. You had some incredible points that you spoke. And I love one thing that you said, I am willing to do this for me. And that's a big thing. At some point we have to say, I'm doing this for me. And I'm willing to do it. And you do. Your excuses are huge, but you're not living within the excuses, and you're not allowing it to become a lie to tell you you can't move forward and that you can't be successful. But the story, thank you for sharing the story about your precious friend, and that we all got to pray for and love on, and I got to meet.
Yeah.
But the words that you spoke within that story and the passion that you had because of it, I think we all needed to hear that. So thank you for sharing that. I know that you need to jump off and go be with your in-laws. Thank you so much for giving us some of your time. We love you, and great, great words of wisdom. Thank you.
All right. I love you guys. I mean, seriously, I love you so much.
Bye, sweetie. All right, we are moving on. Okay, guys, I told y'all tonight was going to be amazing. We're moving on to Miss Chris Rood, and I'm super excited for you guys to hear. Y'all have heard from Chris a couple of times, well, several times. She's a great leader. She's a great motivator. She has an unbelievable health story that just fuels her passion. But I want you to hear about her summer, about her strategy, and some of the things that she learned through these last several months. So, Chris, we're handing it over to you, girl.
Hey, guys, I don't want to follow that. That was amazing. That's what I'm saying.
It's going to be good.
She did take us to church. I loved it. I loved praying with her for those final days. And, oh, my gosh, it was just fun watching her. So y'all are going to hear a totally different story from me. I saw Leaders Retreat. I knew it was achievable, but that was not my goal. My goal was longevity. And I have, over a course of the year, gone up and down with points, up and down with ambassadors and customers. We all know that that happens. That's part of this business. But my goal was gold. And my goal was, how do I keep these ambassadors that I have? How do I help them? How do I help the customers that I have? And how do I grow my team so that I will set myself up to achieve gold? And that was what I wanted. And if Leaders Retreat happened in the midst of that, that was an added bonus to me, but that was not where my heart was. My heart was, I needed to put my blinders on, and I needed to step back, and I needed to focus on my people. And so my plan really looked like, how do I build for longevity? And I don't have a runner. I don't have anyone under me working business. This was not me. And I have people that I think will. I really focused on adding customers, adding ambassadors, but I also really spent time loving on the people that I had and listening to them about what was working, what isn't working. And I really worked closely with them over a course of the summer. So people that I added as customers became ambassadors those last days, because we had been working on making sure that they were successful on products. And that took months. And so my plan looked very different, and that didn't mean I wasn't doing a lot of reach outs. I committed to a minimum of 25 or 30 reach outs a day. I did that. I exceeded that most days. I did 50, sometimes 60. That last day I probably did, well, it was over 100 at some level. I don't really remember what the number was, but it was over 100. She said, this is a script that I'm using. I'm praying for you. You know, how many do you need? And we talked about it. And so I changed up my message a little bit that day. But what I got that day was courage to reach out to somebody that I had never reached out to before. I don't think on purpose or intentionally, but it's a great example to everyone that you don't know what your people need, because I reached out to her and really just about either the Pink Drink or Joyome, kind of went with the Pat thing. And when we got on the phone, she was like, well, do you have anything that helps with gut issues? Yes. Okay, God. And so she was so excited. She said, can I come over and get that Pink Drink right then? And I'm going to probably go over. I'm going to talk for another couple minutes because I'm going to tell this story. Because I've been wanting to tell the story. So now I got where you all have to listen. So she came over late that afternoon, and this is someone that I love and admire and have a lot of respect for. And when she was getting out of the car, she could barely walk. And I thought, well, what's going on about this? And so as we sat here and talked, I had given her a Pink Drink. And I just said, you are in a lot of pain, aren't you? And she said, yeah. And she started sharing problems with her back from an accident years ago. And I mean, she was in visible pain. And I said, if I gave you something, will you take it? And she said, oh, of course. So she drank her Pink Drink. I gave her 3 E's and 3 Nerve, and we sat, and in 20 to 25 minutes, I was watching pain leave her body. Mm-hmm. And that's my story. And so I got to actually watch it from a totally different view. And I mean, I was weeping most of the rest of the night and weeping on the phone with her the next day. And she has already referred another person to me. And so, you know, added a new customer today as a result of that referral. But she and her husband are both going on products. So we added both of them. In fact, they were adding so many products. We actually did it separately to keep it just straight. But you know, what I would say to y'all is you got to listen to your people. And yes, I mean, we need to write down our goals, and we need to do the work, and we need to do the work every day. We do. That's what this is, a job. But we're also here to love on people. And so there were a lot of times over a course of my summer that people ordered and it wasn't the $75. And so I didn't get points. But you know what? It grew them into a bigger customer. And, you know, so my focus was not the contest, really. It was not the points. It was about sharing these products and what they do and that they work. It was about loving people where they were. And for some people, that's starting small. And for some people, that's jumping all in. But my focus was very much growing my team and loving on my people. And so I felt happy where I ended, and I will be gold this month. And there's a little, so I feel really happy, and I feel, I mean, I cannot describe to you what a blessing, just what a blessing, these, not just to me, but when I get to watch people get better, it just makes my heart so happy. So
I love that. You were going in and out, so I want to make sure that you were finished. I have a couple of questions. You had an incredible August.
Oh.
So tell us how you ended your August.
Ended with my August with, I had added 5 ambassadors and 4 new customers that last day.
That's incredible. That's
Yeah.
incredible. You had an incredible summer though. Like you've been on 2018's been a great year for you, if not from the very beginning, whenever you started sharing. But thank you so much. So sharing is your heart, loving people well. Sounds like you were saying that whenever I kind of lost you there, that, the biggest piece for you is being able to see people transform in their health and you being able to be a piece of that and a part of that and being able to help through that. So that's amazing. Thank you so very much. Incredible. Thank you for sharing your friend's story. That's like crazy.
It was wonderful.
Like, okay, we're all going to like overdose people on Nervanese and see what happens. That's so exciting. But that's what I would start somebody on is 3 and 3 too. But I would have never thought to put Slim with it. So that's pretty amazing that you did all of those pieces together. Because the Slim itself has the alpha lipoic acid in it too. So that's incredible. All right, let me see. Where is my Susan? Is she?
It does make a difference.
Oh, there you are. Okay, yeah. That's cool. All right, we're now going to hear from Susan Armstrong, and she is going to share her story of commitment and her goals and how she accomplished them.
Okay. Hey, everybody. So when we were sitting there at convention and they put that ship up on the screen, that was it for me. My husband and I love to go on cruises. We're kind of cruise experts. And so that was a big carrot motivator for me. As a lot of these things tend to happen, a lot of it doesn't really come to fruition until the 3rd month, along the way, the points, you're looking, okay, I was kind of hoping to be a little further along than that by now. And I remember Brent saying, how many points do you have? I'm like, well, this is what I have now, but he's very analytical. He's like, okay, if you have this many divided by 3, I'm like, no, it doesn't work that way. Anyway, so that was a big motivator for me. But it was a huge roller coaster. I was out of the country for a while in July. And so August was really my month was where I was able to sit down and not have to have anything that I was thinking about or getting ready for and kind of have a strategy. But I had all this kind of plan in place and everything. Okay, by the first week of August, I'm pretty sure I'm going to get here and blah, blah, blah. 2 weeks went by and nothing. And I was starting to panic and get frustrated. What I did, I had been talking to several people in July and I thought, okay, they're about to order. But you know how it goes. Somebody says they're going to order and then you don't hear from them for days and days. And so there's like 3 people right on the fence that I was hoping, thinking, okay, in the next couple of days, and like 2 weeks went by. In the meantime, one of my strategies was to send out samples. At the beginning of the month, I watched a video, I think it was it Jen Hawkins? Talked about, the first 10 days of the month, do a lot of reach outs. The second 10 days of the month, do follow-ups. And then the last part was, now close deal on everybody. So I got busy sending out samples the first 10 days or so. I used an envelope like this and I put a couple of Slims, a Joyome sample, like each of the Slims and a Joyome sample, a brochure, a little thing of instructions, a business card, and a personal note. And I probably say, because I started by sending out messages, short and sweet and to the point. And for me, that's the most effective. When you're in a thing like this where you're wanting to message so many people, a lot of those are going to be cold messages. They're going to be messages with people that you haven't interacted with before. It needs to be, if you haven't reached out to them before, it needs to be straight and to the point. And my message was, hey, I'm sending out some Plexus samples this week. I would love to send you some. Shoot me your address and I'll pop some in the mail for you. What's your address? Just that simple. And people respond to that. It was kind of surprising. Some people I thought, okay, I had messaged them in the past, Maybe it'd been months, maybe it'd been a year or more, and I kind of thought they were never going to respond. They responded to that. People like free stuff. But probably the most important thing in that is the personal note. And it took time. The video by Melissa Eichenhorst the other day when she was talking about, and Melissa's got this on the page for everybody to listen to. If you haven't, go watch it. But 5 things to do in the next 90 days to change your business. One of the things she mentions in there is invest in your business in some way. And I remember watching that thinking, I just did that. Because when you commit to send samples, you have to spend some money to do that. You have to buy the samples, first of all. You have to buy an extra bag of Slim, a couple extra bags of Slim, and the Joy Home samples. And you got to pay for postage and all the things and the time that you put into it. But it really does pay off. And I did get some people that tried it and they said, no thanks. Some people actually didn't like the Joy Home. I'm like, okay, you're crazy, but okay. And then other people say, no, the Slim is not just not for me right now. And I'm okay with that because they tasted it. I put information in their hands and then they said no, as opposed to asking them, hey, can I send you some information about Plexus? And then if they say no to that, okay, then what do you do? So that it was really effective using the samples with the personal message. That's the main thing, is the personal message. And then the follow up to that, after sending all those out, then I spent a lot of time following up with people. Have you tried it yet? Have you tried it yet? What did you think and all that? And let me just, a little tip here. If you're going to do the sample thing, I would start the month before. People drag their feet, so to speak, on trying the samples. Say, hey, have you tried them yet? Oh, yeah, I got to find those. I'll try them next week. So they took a little bit of pushing just to encourage people. So, okay, try it tomorrow, and I'll check back with you. So you have to plan ahead for that. If you're thinking, okay, I'm going to send out samples and then next week they're going to try them and then, then they're going to be ready. People, you got to give them time. So that's my first tip, is use samples regularly. The second tip that I would have and this is just general tips, not necessarily for a contest like this, but all the time. Don't assume that you know what people are thinking. As I was going through my list, sending out messages to, more messages than usual to a lot of people, I skipped some people. It's just that, I don't know. I don't think, the last time I messaged them, over the last couple of years, they've just never responded or something, whatever goes through your head where you assume that they're not going to respond or be interested or whatever. One person I skipped, and I went back as I was going back through the next day. I thought, no, okay, I'm just going to send her a message. She responded immediately, said, oh yeah, I've been meaning to ask you about that. I'm like, where have you been? Because it wasn't the first time I'd messaged her, but the sample thing, I don't know, that just opens people up. And another person that I skipped on my list, she messaged me out of the blue. I didn't send her a message. And then suddenly I get this thing from her saying, hey, I have a question about Plexus. I'm like, you do? Okay. So, and even after 4 years, you'd think I've learned that by now, but we still tend to do that. We tend to put our thoughts into other people's minds and assume that we know what they're thinking. We don't know what they're thinking. So don't skip people. And then the third thing is, I tend to get overwhelmed easily with too much going on, too much, just stuff coming at me from every direction, especially during a thing like this where there's so many incentives being thrown at us. There's the Consistency Club, there's Leaders Retreat, there's, I can't even think of them all, but, and then there's just all the usual things like just rank ups and things like that are always there. The contests with the beach towel and all those things. It's easy to get overwhelmed with all that and go, I don't know, what am I supposed to be working for here? Pick one. It's a buffet. And, some people are going to want to try to do, a little bit of everything, and that's great. For me, I look at the buffet, I wanted just the crab legs. So that's what I went for. I didn't want all this other stuff. I just want that. I wanted Leaders Retreat. So I wasn't even thinking about Consistency Club and all those other things because I was focused on PB. It's like, okay, I want Leaders Retreat, and I know PB is a really big way to get there. And so that's what I focused on. Hello. Sorry, my daughter just walked in. She's like, who are you talking to? So don't get overwhelmed by it. Pick something. I knew that Chris had a lot of big goals, and I thought she was going for Leaders Retreat, and I messaged her one day, say, hey, how are you doing? What are your credits now? Because she had been posting like she was close to a goal, and she said, oh no, I'm not even doing Leaders Retreat. I'm doing this goal over here. I'm like, oh, that's really cool. Okay, yeah, like, oh, yeah, encouraging, hoping she was going to get it. But pick something to work towards, but don't feel like you got to do everything, or that, well, if I'm not doing that one, or if I'm not doing that one, then I'm, not doing it right. So pick whatever it is that's going to motivate you. One thing that I've thought a lot about, and anytime we do something like this, where we're pushing and pushing and pushing and blitzing messages and trying to get as many people as we can, you want to be careful that you're not pushing people too soon, pushing people to get on board before they're ready. Mm-hmm. And it's easy to want to say, oh gosh, if I could just get 2 more people by tonight, or 5 more by tomorrow, or whatever, then I can, get that prize or whatever it is. But you want to think long-term, always be thinking long-term, and working on, you want that customer or the ambassador to be a long-term relationship, to be a long-term customer or ambassador. And if you jumping them on quick before they're really, know what's going on, or they just may not be ready, then they may not stick with you. I saw a video from Rachel Rogers recently, talking about that concept, where she, said and I know Melissa's talked about this many, many times. It's all about the relationships with people, and how she does not send out cold messages. And I remember thinking, wow, really? She can't stand the message where you haven't talked to somebody in 20 years, and then suddenly you're messaging them, hey girl, love seeing pictures of your kids, or love following you on Facebook. Oh, by the way, Plexus. And so that's why for me, the sample thing, it's short and to the point, and, and then they respond to that because they know you're not trying to pretend to be something, I don't know how best to say that, but, so always be thinking long-term, even when you are pushing, you're just like, okay, I need this many people. Always think past that, think past the goal, think past whatever the prize is you're going for, because 2-3 months from now, you want that person that you just got on board as a customer to be loving the products and getting great results and all that. You don't want them to ever think you're desperate when you're reaching out. Let's see, I'm looking at my notes here, see if there was something else. I think I covered everything I was going to say.
Oh, good. You had some great points. Were you about to say one more thing before?
No, that's it.
Okay, I want to ask you a couple of things. Such good points. Samples. Tell us again what you had in your package. Okay.
I got these big, big envelopes, little 5x7 envelopes, and I included, and I kind of changed it as I went, because I started out putting a bunch of stuff in there. I thought, I may be kind of overwhelming people with too many brochures, I started out by putting a brochure on Slim, because I had some from convention, and a brochure on Joyome, because I got those at convention, and, and a full product brochure, this thing with all of them in there. And, I thought, okay, maybe I need to pare it down just a little bit. I don't want to overwhelm them, think they have to read all this stuff. So then I went to just this, and this is on the Plexus print. This is a full product brochure, so it lists everything that Plexus has. It has, you can get it with your name on the back. A sample of HC, Slim HC, a sample of the Slim microbiome activating, and then a Joyome sample. And then I included this. I have these that I print out from time to time. It's just instructions on how to mix each of the Slims. Like mix this Slim this way, mix this Slim this way, and drink water. And I even ordered some return address labels with Plexus on them.
Mm-hmm.
And just the little things. I printed out some stickers to put on the envelope, on the outside of the envelope. But the main thing was the note, the personal note. It's just a little piece of paper, a little note from a little notebook, and I wrote it out. I didn't type it. So it took time. If I had a list of 10 people that had given me their addresses that day, and I sat down, and it would take a good while to write out each one of those notes. But I think that's probably the most critical piece of that.
Yeah.
Because then when you do follow up, they know they're thinking, okay, they went to all this trouble and they took the time, and they may be, pulling that out and going, wow, they actually wrote this whole note all, by hand. So hopefully that goes a long way with people, because if you print it out, that's easy to cut and paste, and they know that you probably sent it out to 100 people, but if you write it out and like, wow, okay, it's something, I wrote out, a lot of the time I wrote out the same thing to people, over and over again. I kind of got it in my head and just wrote it. But the fact that it was handwritten goes a long way, I think.
Yeah, I think that's huge. Just to add on to that, I do sample packets as well. And guys, I do mine ahead of time. So I usually have 10 already ready to go, because a lot of times just I'm a procrastinator and I get overwhelmed a lot of times fairly quickly. And so for me, if I can have all of that completely ready and I just have to do my personal note, then I just feel like I can do that better. And so mine's just a little bit different from hers. I do the Slim, I do the Joyome, but then I add Ease, a sample of Ease, the cream, a sample of the body cream. And I always put my favorite tea in there as well. So I actually give them a favorite of something that's personal, that's not Plexus, just to kind of add to it. And then I do the brochure as well. So you can really do anything, but I kind of call it my favorite things. And that's why I add my tea to it. But if you'll do them ahead of time and kind of even give yourself a goal to say, I'm going to send out 5 samples a month or whatever it is, like 5 sample packets. Like make that your goal every single month. Get them ready, put it on your table to where you see it. I do that with my trial packs as well. So I get 5 trial packs every single month, and it's my goal to sell those trial packs or mail them to someone every single month. But if you do it ahead of time, I think that helps out, or it does for me.
Yeah.
Susan, that was fantastic. Thank you.
One other thing about follow-up, when you're following up with people, if you do put a little bit less information in the envelope, then you can follow up with shareables. And I started doing that. The Joyome website, oh my gosh, that is fantastic. You just stick the link in there. And if they hadn't responded, maybe, hey, have you gotten your samples? Or, hey, did you try them? What do you think? Then I would go back later, a couple days later, and say, oh, hey, here's more information about the Joyome. Take a look at it. And it might highlight something for them to look at. Or here's a video about the Slim with a little more information, So those are great to use for.
I think so too. Yeah. I'm so glad that you added that. That's perfect. That's a great way to follow up, even on a follow-up of a second or a third time. So the first time might've been, hey, did you try it?
Right.
And then another time could be a video or something. It gives you a couple of different ways to follow up. So I'm so glad you added that. That's perfect. Okay. I am going to hand over to Miss Laura Heinrichs, one of our leaders. She's going to close us out tonight with some thoughts.
Thank you. And I just loved everything that the 3 of y'all said. It was amazing. I knew it would be because I knew parts of, or all of some of your stories. And so I knew it would be just amazing, and it was. But I was thinking about it today because I knew some things these ladies were going to say. And I of course, knew 2 of them on my team and kind of had walked through that whole summer journey with them. And so I was kind of trying to draw together what was a common denominator between these 3. And I really just kept coming back to the word attitude. And in fact, even yesterday at church, our pastor's sermon was in the book of Philippians, and it was on basically mindset and attitude is really what it was all coming down to. And so that word, even though I had already been thinking that, of just some thoughts just about, my team and how people had achieved so much, and just some things that were great about that, I kept coming back to that word. So I really just, all I would really want to do is just say that I believe that all three of them had such an amazing mindset and attitude throughout the summer, but also particularly in going after their goals. And I just think it's a great reminder. I've struggled with attitude, particularly in the past, and I continually work on it. And I think it's something we all really have to continue working on. Some people are just smooth sailing in that area, but not very many actually. And so, mindset is really a daily commitment to, when you are getting up in that day, you're going to just take a whole mindset and have your attitude be right. So I just wanted to share a couple quick things about attitude real quick. One of them was just from John Maxwell in his book, The 21 Laws of Irrefutable Leadership. He has a law he calls the law of magnetism, which is how people are attracted to you. Okay, and one of the points he makes in there, and there's much, much more to it, but one of them is basically about attitude. And so one thing he says about it is this: attitude is one of the most contagious qualities a human being possesses. People with good attitudes tend to make people around them feel more positive. Those with terrible attitudes tend to bring others down. And that is really true. And so it's so critical for us being in a relationship business that we are having that positive attitude. That is what's going to attract people to us and to our products, but mostly to us. And then they will listen to what products that we have. But I wanted to share one more thing because I think this is just amazing. And this is actually written by Chuck Swindoll, who is our pastor, but he wrote this a long time ago, and it's been shared and shared and shared, and it's just about attitude. It's called Attitude. And so I'm going to read it, and then later when Melissa posts the recording of this call, I'll put it in the comments so you can have it and be able to look at it, because when you actually start looking at it and reading it more, it really speaks. So I'm just going to read it real quick, and then I'll add it in the comments later on. So it's Attitude by Chuck Swindoll. The longer I live, the more I realize the impact of attitude on life. Attitude to me is more important than facts. It's more important than the past, than education, than money, than circumstances, than failures, than successes, or than what other people think, say, or do. It is more important than appearance, giftedness, or skill. It will make or break a company, a church, a home. The remarkable thing is we have a choice every day regarding the attitude we embrace for that day. We cannot change our past. We cannot change the fact that people will act in a certain way. We cannot change the inevitable. The only thing we can do is play the one string we have, and that is our attitude. I'm convinced that life is 10% what happens to me and 90% how I react to it. And so it is with you. We are in charge of our attitudes. And that's really it. I don't have anything else to say on that because he said it all, and it's really, really true. So I just applaud these three ladies and all of their amazing efforts, and many others on our team who went far, far beyond what you believed or thought you even could do. And it inspired me hugely, hugely going forward into this fall. And I hope everybody will do that. Take these messages and just look at the rest of our team and some huge achievements and just say, you know what, I can do this. They can do it, and I can do it too. Mm-hmm. And just carry that through the fall in momentum, because it doesn't end after the summer. It just means you have created a certain amount of growth that can keep on going. So keep that in mind. And I just think it's going to be an amazing fall for our team.
Yeah. Thank you so much. That was so good. Guys, thank you for being on the call. Lauren, Susan, Chris, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us. And we will get this recording out so that Laura can put that info on there. That was super good. So y'all have a great night. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.